Recording, and we should be able to see captions too. Yes. Okay. Well, all right. So would everyone please open their chat and put your first and last name in there so I'll know who's here. I can make sure you all get the recording. I assume you signed up, you registered. That's why you have the link. So I should have your email, but I want to make sure that I can get the recording to everyone and the slides. All right. Okay. So welcome, everyone. I'm Gregg Wentzell. I am director of the original Lilly Conference on College Teaching held here on the campus of Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. Every year since 1981, hard to believe, this will be our 44th year of presenting the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. I'm going to put the homepage link, the Lilly homepage link in the chat. There it is, if you haven't seen it already. Okay. And you can use that if you'd like to refer to it, but I'll also be sharing things through the slides. Okay, so here's today's roadmap. What we'll do in the next 45 minutes or so. Make sure that you're familiar with the kinds of proposals that we accept, what we're looking for in a proposal to present at Lilly, the different format options you have as a presenter, and what are the requirements for the specific requirements for the proposals and the categories that they can be submitted in. We'll take a look at the proposal submission form and talk about reasons for rejection, what makes for a successful proposal, and at the end, answer any questions you may have. Of course, if you have a question along the way, you are welcome to ask it also. Okay. Whoops. All right, just a reminder, and I'll say this several times, but the proposal submission deadline is exactly 1 month from today, June 23rd. Okay, so keep that in mind. You can submit anytime up to that date. And here's our mission. I'll give you just a minute to read that. And this is the mission on which the Lilly Conference was founded by Milt Cox way back in 1981. All right. And I guess I'd just go ahead and say that our attendees are primary faculty developers, and administrators from 2- and 4-year colleges. All disciplines and departments are very welcome. This is a multidisciplinary conference. Our attendees are passionate about teaching scholarship, and about learning from each other. And if that sounds like you, if you enjoy learning from other colleagues and you're passionate about teaching and student learning, this is a welcoming place to engage in those conversations. Some of the things that our attendees have said about the conference are that as I mentioned, it's a way to be with like minds, with people who care about teaching and student learning. They receive helpful feedback on their work from presentations, both in the questions they receive during the sessions and also in the session evaluations. Many presenters have told us that crafting a proposal and presenting it has inspired them to realize how significant their teaching results can actually be. Um, you'll get strategies for that really can be affirming in the sense that you can see how significant some of the work you're doing may be, as well as feedback on ways to help make your work even more effective. And they just say it's a lot of faculty and other attendees that come to Lilly say that this is like it's a really rejuvenating experience. It's a teaching and learning community. It becomes a retreat as well as a conference. So, um, so here are the conference presentation formats. Um, this, oops, I think I skipped. Did I skip a slide here? Whoops. Yeah, I skipped quite a few. Sorry about that. Okay, the proposal submission categories. Um, these are the four categories that you'll have an opportunity to choose from for your submission. And these will be shared with the peer reviewers also, so they'll know the type of proposal they're reading. The research category is what you think of as closest to the kind of work that you're doing in your discipline. Um, you normally would have a baseline to show change in student behavior. For example, that we had a session on campus perspectives on using proctoring software, results of faculty and student surveys and Senate committee discussions. That one included data from faculty and student surveys and statistical analyses. That would be an example of the type of work that would qualify as a research proposal. And I should say that we get submissions in all these categories. It's really up to you the kind of work you're doing and what is most pertinent to your learning. The innovation category proposes an innovative idea that's based in the teaching and learning and literature, but it doesn't necessarily require you to collect actual data, although it should have a plan for next steps in assessment. I do a pre-conference workshop on scholarly teaching and the scholarship of teaching and learning that would qualify in this category as an innovation piece. And for that one, in my data collection plan would be how many workshop attendees might submit manuscripts based on the session. If they attended the session, did they submit, or did I get feedback and questions about it? What kind of interest and action did I get based on that? The application category is one that describes, as you can see here, exemplary practice with applied research. An example of that is applying a session we had on called Applying the Science of Learning to Critical Thinking Instruction. And finally, the integration category brings together the research done by others in some sort of meaningful way. For example, a piece that gathers together best practices in a particular area of teaching and learning. We had a paper, a submission presentation called Critical Conversations on Managing Student Issues in the Classroom. And that had a critical assessment and discussion of policies and practices that support students in their academic progress. So that's a quick rundown of the proposal choices you will have. Next here. Okay, now for the presentation formats, you have three options: a 45-minute individual concurrent session, an interactive poster session, or a pre-conference workshop. The 45 minutes are in individual session rooms, and they give you the opportunity to share your work with a group of participants, and you can do some activities as well as some presentation of data you might have collected. And these sessions are scheduled throughout the day during the conference, beginning in Thursday afternoon through the end of the conference on Saturday in concurrent session time blocks. And we also have an interactive poster session. That is one session that takes place it's on Friday evening, which is November 21st. In one large area, the atrium of the student center where the conference is held. Poster sessions are a great way to interact with a large number of people one-on-one. You can have some good conversations. You can start with your basic quick elevator pitch and then see to what extent folks are interested in taking those conversations further. So that can be an effective way if you want to deliver your work in that way. And then we have pre-conference workshops. Those are going to be on Thursday morning, and those are 3-hour sessions. If you have something that involves more of an extensive workshop kind of format for deep learning, that's the best option for that. Those workshops have an option where you can choose a book that you also want to include with the workshop that participants would get to use during the workshop and keep as part of the workshop experience. Let's see. Yeah. So I think those are the 3 options, and again, you can choose the option that works best for you, and when you submit your proposal. All right. Now, as far as the proposal proposal submission template is the next thing I want to show you. So this is hopefully a way to. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. And we'll go back here to we'll go. Not that one, this one. There we go. Okay. So when you go to the submission site on the website, this is the template you will see. There's a link there where you can open it and then complete your proposal using the template. This is important for several reasons. One, it makes sure that you know what to include, that everything is there. Also, it keeps all the proposals looking more or less the same, has a uniform format to them. It includes all the essential information we need for the peer reviewing, as well as for attendees to be able to look at the proposal. These will be posted online with your accepted proposal so that folks can look at them beforehand. So you can take a look through here. You can see there are character limits to keep the length manageable. So you have the title and then the abstract. It's pretty standard stuff. A drop-down menu for the category that we just talked about. And then, of course, the preferred session format. And we're going to ask you to rank those as a 1, a 2, and a 3. We will do our very best to give you your top choice. But because of space limitations and demand, it may be necessary to ask you to move to a second choice. Yep. All right. And then there's a section. I think somebody's got their mic on. Could I ask that mics be muted, please?
I do.
Unless there's a question. No. Okay. Topic or goal to be addressed. So that's basically what teaching and learning challenge or opportunity did you look at? The next section is on the instructional context. If this is taking place in a particular course, to tell us about that. And then the methods. This is all pertaining to the work you've done, not the session itself that you're going to present, but the work that the session is based on. What methods you used, how did you solve the problem or answer the question? What kind of innovation did you use? For example, if you were using cooperative learning in a mathematics course, you would talk about that. Let's see here. And then we have the research and evaluation section. If it's a research type piece, you could actually include the data. If it's an innovation type piece, you would talk about what your plan is for how you can go about assessing the data, since it's not necessarily going to have been done yet. Okay. And then we get to the stuff about the session you're going to present. So we asked you for learning outcomes, measurable kinds of things, tasks that what participants will do and what they should be able to, what skills they will have gained by the end of the session. Okay, so that's normally presented just in a list of, let's say 3 to 5 for most people. And then how will the session unfold? What's it look like? What will be the outline of the session? Will you open with some polling or a general introduction to your topic and then move to an activity, then move to discussion, for example? So what's the lay of the land for the session? What's the plan? And what specific activities do you plan to do? Think pair shares, pollings, discussions, Google worksheets, whatever the case might be. And then a reference list. We limit you to 5. You don't need more than, you don't have to have 5, but not more than 5. And this should be an APA7 format, since that keeps things consistent and it provides the information that readers and reviewers will need. Okay. Any questions about the template before we move along? And I should say we highly recommend that you go ahead and do this in a Word doc, so that sometimes sessions time out and you could lose your data. So I always do it in a Word doc first and then copy over. That way I know I'm not going to lose it.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Because you have 4 different categories of presentation that we can choose. Are
Yes.
we allowed to submit to more than one category?
More than one proposal, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, you are. But we do have a limit of one, for space reasons, we normally have a limitation of one lead presenter per session. So if you're a solo presenter, you would likely have to choose just one session. If you have a co-presenter, then you could be the lead on one and your co-presenter could be the lead on the other, and that would be the way to do 2 sessions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because my colleague and we are working on a core topic which can be applied to research and also maybe application. So I am trying to see whether we can make 2 submissions, one to research and another one to either innovation or application.
Right. Yeah, I think that would be fine. If you have a
Okay.
co-presenter, that's no problem whatsoever.
Okay. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Any other questions about the proposal form at the moment? We all good? Okay, let me go back to get my slides going again here momentarily. All right. Back to the slides. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, and then at the end of the submission, you will process at the bottom of the page. You will see this verification statement is just a checkbox, just some reminders about what needs to be in the proposal. All right, so some of the common reasons that proposals are unsuccessful, just want to mention these. So we do request that for anonymous peer review that your name and institution be removed from the proposal. So please take that out. Another reason is that there is no inclusion of the literature. We do ask that when you're talking about the background of the study or the methods, include APA citations as appropriate, for example, Smith 2022, and also a corresponding reference list at the end of the proposal, the 5 references or so, up to 5, in APA format. Okay. Basically, these other things are just, it would just be a matter of things are we hope we set up the template in such a way that it would be hard to miss these things. The list of learning objectives, that's an actual text box in the proposal format. Description of the session will be run likewise. So these things really, hopefully would not be an issue. Would mean that the box was simply blank, and you would know that. So hopefully that's captured in the template itself. Okay, so I thought it might be interesting to do a breakout session. So in the chat, I'm going to put these questions. Whoops. Give me a second here. All right. All right. Let's see what we've got here. We've got 16 people. All right. So here are the questions. What's your proposed topic and how will it contribute to the teaching and learning conversation at Lilly? Where will you look for literature to support your proposal? What will you have session participants do to engage in the learning? And finally, what do you want participants to take away from the session? So we'll give you a few minutes to chat about that, and I may drop in as need be. And we'll see you back here in about, let's say 10 minutes.
Hi, Greg. This is Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm fine. I left the breakout room because I left the big meeting before I heard the questions, and I don't know if
Can you see
our
your chat?
let me look.
I can re-enter them. If you go to the top of your Zoom screen, you should be able to, the chat should pop up.
Okay. I don't see it.
Okay. Um, well, let me just give me a sec here and I'll put them in I will share the screen. How's that?
Perfect.
Need to be one of the things that we worry about is them being able to evaluate.
That's fantastic. That's actually really good.
What they're getting is output. It's not much different. And I'm older than both of you ladies, but so I grew up in an age where we didn't have calculators, and calculators were introduced when I was in grad school. And so it was sort of the debate we had about calculators too, that students didn't understand what was what the real, let's say in math, they didn't really understand the math and they were just pushing buttons. They would never know if the answer they got was valid. And so it's the same scenario. We're trying to show the students you have to understand how to do the coding in order to evaluate whether the AI created something valid.
Greg, while we have you here, we're just wondering after if in the event the proposal is accepted and we present, is there an
Yes.
opportunity to publish?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get to that before the end. So you are psychic that we have a journal. If you haven't heard, we have a peer-reviewed journal that we also publish here at Miami through the center. We direct the conference, and we have our peer-reviewed journal on excellence in college teaching. So I will be sharing information about that. As a matter of fact, many Lilly presenters did indeed go on to publish in the journal. It's not just a proceedings for the conference. It's anonymously peer reviewed, but those who present at Lilly get direct support if interested for working their session into writing it up as a manuscript submission.
Fantastic. Is that also true for poster presentations?
Absolutely. Yeah. Posters is scholarship too. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it has to, it would need to be written up in a way that would be useful for the journal's readers. But we have the same submission categories for the journal that we do for Lilly. So we have an innovation category as well as research and the others. So yeah, so if it meets those criteria, then yeah, it would be something that we could send out for review. Mhm.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. I hope you had a good chat. I'm going to move on to a different group, but I'll see you all back together here shortly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quantitative courses.
Yes.
And now it seems that it's more and more using in the qualitative courses as well.
Yeah, I think that's true. I was trying to think about how you would quantify the data. I know Ken Spiro, the CEO, is working with, I think it's Western Michigan, and they're trying to do a study to try to do a study to see if they could collect quantifiable data to prove to CAPE that the use of simulations have really have made growth in their candidates and so forth. So I don't know very much about that, but yeah. And so Ken, when he originally started out, like 30 years ago, they were doing big simulations for corporations.
Mhm.
Yeah. That
Hi,
would, that,
Greg.
yeah.
Hi there. I
There
just
he
thought
is.
I'd drop in, see if everybody's doing well.
I'm at EKU, and Rusty Carpenter said to say hi to you. So
Oh, well, tell Rusty hello. Yes.
we just
Yes.
got done with a writer's retreat where he gets us to stay in at school for 3 days and work on our projects.
Well,
But
good for him.
didn't we have some questions? I forgot what they were now that we were going to ask Greg.
Well, we will have time for questions at the end, but if you've got something quick right now, I can try to answer it.
I see something real quick, Greg.
Okay.
So I had actually talked to you on the phone, but I've already submitted a proposal. If I wanted to change it to a pre-conference workshop, is that possible?
Sure. Yeah. Just
Okay.
shoot me an email.
Okay.
These
can take
haven't
a
gone
look at
out
it.
for review yet, so,
Okay.
yeah, that's
I
fine.
remember now, we were wondering whether the pre-conference workshops are like 2.5 hours long or whether
They're 3 hours.
3 hours.
I
Okay.
think it's actually 3.5, 9 to 12:30, I believe. Yeah, on Thursday morning.
Okay.
They're the first thing. Well, I guess as the name would imply, pre-conference. Yeah, and then we have lunch, and then the formal conference sessions start after lunch on Thursday.
And Ling, you were wondering whether if you don't get your accepted format, whether
Yes.
you end up doing a poster session or.
Actually, we asked the reviewers if this doesn't look suitable for the submitted category, would you recommend another category? So, for
Oh.
example, if somebody does submit as a 45 and they say, well, they're not sure they have the enough for participants to do with it, but it might work as a poster.
Are the pre-conference workshops the most competitive category?
Only because of the limited space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but we don't normally get a ton of those because they're a lot of work, obviously.
Yes.
A lot of preparation. But yeah, we have a limit of, maybe half a dozen of those. So
Are they usually run by more than one person?
often they are, yes. Unless it's really someone who's really, really experienced and proficient with that area and is kind of their thing, but often they're won by 2 or 3 folks. Yeah, that seems to work well, and it's easier to facilitate that way. If you have people in different smaller pods and things, it helps to have more than one person. Yeah,
And
I'm
when will we
gonna
know?
step out, but
Okay.
can I catch you at the
Yes,
end,
yes,
John?
please.
Okay.
Yep.
No worries. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. All right, leave breakout room.
That was enlightening.
Well, all right. Is everybody back? Looks like maybe they are. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes, Carrie.
Hey, we had a question come up in our little group.
Okay.
We were trying to find the line between needing IRB approval and not needing IRB approval. I think we settled on we think that you need it if there's any data involved. So student grades,
Any student
perception,
data. Yeah.
or even perception data like survey type stuff.
Yep.
But if we're just talking
Right.
about strategies, but not student data, then we wouldn't need IRB approval.
Strategies as in just
Like
something based in the literature? Or?
Yes.
Oh, right. No, only if you're actually using what we call human subjects.
Okay.
And if you're really in doubt, check with your institution's IRB office, I would say, because this is scholarship, and so that those kind of regulations apply if you're working with information obtained from students, and of course they will need to have been informed of this and had the opportunity to opt out in normal circumstances. Yes, another question.
Another question which came up also in our group discussion was how much value and weight is given to the interactive element of the session. Is that a requirement?
That's a good question. Yes, it is really. We want to model good, effective, what we know about what makes teaching and learning effective because of the nature of what this conference is about. So this is very different from maybe a disciplinary conference where folks maybe just kind of read their papers. Lilly sessions are expected to engage participants in doing things. It's certainly fine to have presentation, lecture type content. That's absolutely fine and probably necessary to talk about what you did with your study or whatever you're working with. But there is an expectation, and that's why there is a section in the template for activities. That there be, let's say in a 45-minute session, at least 1 to 2 activities, whether it's simply turn to someone and talk or about it, or whether it's something more involved, like some sort of more structured group activity, whatever the case may be. Yeah. But to demonstrate a variety of teaching and learning techniques, not simply talking at people for the entire section. Even in the poster session, obviously that's totally interactive, right? I mean, you're talking to people. And folks sometimes ask, well, what should we put for, learning outcomes there? It's like, well, in addition to, obviously they're going to learn about what you did in your session, but lots of times for posters, folks will have, for example, discussion questions on the poster related to the content. And you can engage participants in questions about that. So one of your learning outcomes could be dealing with that. That they'll be able to, whatever it is, describe what you did or discuss it or whatever whatever verb you might want to use that would be something that we could designate as a skill to be learned. Other question? Yes, Wei-Lin.
What are the common type of activities that you have seen so far in the conference?
Well, I've been mentioning them along the way. Obviously, I mean, I don't have a lot of time to explain a lot of what they are here, but I'll be happy to follow up on that with anyone who wants to talk more about it. But the ones that are often known and used in teaching and learning, when we talk about effective teaching and learning, I mentioned the think, pair, share, where someone does some thinking or writing, turns to a partner and discuss, and then turns to a partner and they talk to each other and share out what they're thinking or what they've learned. Problem solving activities like that. More structured kinds of peer group activities where you assign them to groups of 3 or 4 and have them do something, perhaps even assign roles to the different members like timekeeper and note taker, et cetera, and have them produce something and then report out. A round robin technique, for example. I'm just writing down a list of things that active learning kinds of things that I've seen done, where everyone maybe says something unique they do in the classroom to engage students. And you go around the entire room, and this would require a relatively small group probably. But the idea is there it teaches people how to listen to each other, how to listen to each other, and then they can't just parrot off each other. They need to provide and build on what's already been shared. So if you Google active learning techniques for college education, I could share even a list of ones that we use. That might be helpful in terms of folks thinking about things they might not have already thought about or tried. Is that helpful?
Yes.
And again, I'm glad to follow up with anybody who wants to talk more specifically about that afterwards. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I apologize to dwell on that, but is everybody in the room expected to be part of the activity? Or can you say, okay, can I get 5 volunteers?
Oh yeah. I mean, it depends on what you're going for, really.
Okay.
I mean, ideally, obviously, you want everybody engaged in the session, right? That's just good, inclusive instruction.
Right.
But yeah, you might have a say can I hear from one person from each group, for example, or I just simply ask for volunteers.
Okay.
Yeah, you certainly aren't expected or required that every person speak out. No, because that, again, you probably wouldn't do that with students either necessarily. Right. Good question. Yeah. But in the spirit of getting everybody engaged, everyone at least has the opportunity. Yeah.
If we present the research, can we request the people in the room to serve as a discussion?
Say a little more about what you mean by that.
If we pick the research category, That means we are presenting our research preliminary findings. Could we
Right.
request the people in the room, maybe as you said, maybe just a few of them, and ask them to serve as a discussion?
Do you mean like an actual research participant?
I mean, we present our findings.
Mhm.
The presenter present the findings.
Right.
The audience, can we ask them to be the discussion?
What do you mean by discussing?
They discuss what are the for example, the strength and the weaknesses of our research.
Oh,
Things
absolutely.
like that. Give us their recommendation for improvement. Things like that.
And we do have an opportunity for everyone to complete an evaluation, but that might not of the session, but that might not get it exactly what you're asking for. Sure, you could ask for feedback. I would suggest giving them some sort of targeted questions so that they can give you talk as specifically about it as possible. Now, if you were going to use that information in future research, then that would require, getting their consent and that sort of thing. That would be a whole other thing. But just to offer, just to get informal anecdotal feedback in the session, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I know we're running short on time if we haven't run out already, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of information. This is what to expect. Success proposals will normally go out to 2 to 3 teacher scholars with experience in reviewing for SOTL conferences, and some of you on this call are folks who do that already. So they're folks who know what Lilly is and what a Lilly proposal looks like. We are a very developmental conference, and when I was talking earlier about the reasons proposals are rejected, I didn't mean to give the idea that we're looking for reasons to reject it. Quite the opposite. We want to accept proposals, and that's why we do something like a webinar like this, is we want to support you and help you be well informed so that you can write a good proposal and it will be accepted, because we want you to have the opportunity to present your work at Lilly. So you'll get feedback, you'll get detailed feedback. More often than not, you'll be asked to revise and resubmit with a timeline. The idea is that all proposal reviews are complete and the schedule is set up by the end of August, and you'll be notified at that point about your day and time and your session format, hopefully the one you requested, if at all possible, and we'll post that information to the website. Please do plan to be available for the entire conference if you're submitting, because it's very difficult to schedule these sessions. So just as a professional courtesy, if you do have an extenuating circumstance where you can't present at a specific time for a really good reason, please let us know in advance, like when you submit, if possible, not after the schedule is done. That probably makes sense to everyone. And then our dates are November 20th to 22nd. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right here on the campus of Miami in Oxford, Ohio. It's a beautiful place. If you've not been here before, I think you'll enjoy it. That setting where you can see students doing their thing and sharing sessions and driving shuttle vans, and we think that adds to the conference experience immensely too. Conference registration is open, and if you go to the website, you will see that link. Early bird registration goes to October 15th. If you're a Miami person, I would ask that you hold off on registration because there is some information in the forthcoming CTE news about your registration. So please wait till you see that before you register. Anyone who's non-Miami, you can go ahead and register at any time before the 15th and save the $50. All right. And I also wanted to mention, we do have a journal. Someone was asking about publication opportunities. The Journal on Excellence in College Teaching is our peer-reviewed teaching and learning journal that we publish here through the center. And I'm the editor-in-chief, and I'm always interested in talking to people about writing up their submissions for possible publication. What we normally recommend is wait till you've done your session, get some feedback, think about how you might want to write it up and what you've learned that might be useful. And we welcome the manuscripts in the same categories as the Lilly Conference proposals, so they align nicely that way. I'm happy to talk to anyone about that afterwards, or at the conference even, just look me up. We have a special issue on AI enhanced pedagogy. The deadline for that is August 1st. If you're doing something in that area and you have a manuscript you think you might be able to get together by that time, you are welcome to submit or to contact me for further information. And I'm sure we'll see some sessions on that at Lilly as well. And I think we're out of time. We're probably 5 minutes over time, but anyone who wants to stick around or has additional questions, I'm happy to stick around and answer them. And those who have to go, I will send you what did I say I would send? The slides, and what else? Was there something else? At any rate, you'll definitely get the slides after the session. Any other questions?
Hey,
Right.
Greg, can I say,
Yes. Yes, Carrie, please.
could I say just a quick thing about what it's like to be a participant at this conference for anybody who hasn't been before?
Oh, I would love it if you did that.
The setting's beautiful, definitely. The building is really nice, very accessible. But the conference is so supportive. People are so nice. I'm not a super enthusiastic public speaker, so comfortable even in the like 45-minute sessions because people are there to have a conversation. I've made new friends through this conference. I mean, you will leave with plenty of ideas and plenty of things to put on. I don't know if you guys have to do annual activity reports. Plenty of stuff to put on your annual activity report in terms of things that you learned and are incorporating in your teaching going forward. I just couldn't recommend it enough.
Well, Carrie, thank you. That was lovely. And better said than I could have. And it means more coming from you as someone who's attended, more than once and presented. Yes.
I was just curious, Greg.
Yes.
We presented at Traverse City.
Right.
What's the food thing? Are breakfast free, lunch,
No,
dinner
there are no
stuff?
complimentary meals.
Okay.
Our registration fee is quite a bit lower than Traverse City. I think we're $475 pre early bird. So, that's a little cheaper, but no, we don't actually include any meals with the conference, but they're available to purchase when you register served by the conference. There's also I'm glad you asked. Is also at the venue. There's a food court area with different meal options too. Right
Great,
there
thanks.
right there within a short walk from where the presentation rooms are.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yes.
Greg, I have a quick question.
Yes.
You may have mentioned this, but when will we know if the proposal has been accepted, and that will help us register?
Well, the deadline is what, in June 23rd? And I intend to screen and send proposals out ASAP after that. The first decision deadline, I believe, is July 15th, something like that. I think, when I'll let everybody know. If it's gone out for review, you'll get your reviewer feedback and you'll get your decision by then.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And then if there's revision required, I'll give you, a week or so to do the revisions and then resubmit.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anything else that I can answer for anyone now? Well, thanks once again. I'll give you the final save the date reminder for the conference. Proposals again are due June 23rd. Don't hesitate to, ask if you have any questions between now and then. And I hope to see you all here. Thanks so much for coming. I'll be sending the slides out. Have a long weekend, folks.
Can I stay after to ask about the AI issue?
Sure, anybody who wants to hang out can do that.
I was wondering, what are you looking for in terms of submissions for that? Do the submissions need to have data? We've started redesigning the team assignments. It goes across 6 modules. There are
Mhm.
scaffolded assignments building toward the final project for our research methods class, and we're incorporating an AI component to. I think we've got it. It's either in 5 of them or all 6 of them, and it basically explores different ways that they can use AI in a team setting, but also there's a couple of the components are sort of walking them through a process where they sort of discover things about the type of things that AI gives them back. So not painting AI as, oh, this is horrible, don't use it,
Uh-huh.
and like, but more of like, how can you use it productively in these type of like assignments? But we don't
Yeah.
have data.
Yep, we have that innovation category for the journal, which is one that we could consider. Um, with that particular special issue, we are anticipating, since it's so new, we might get a lot of those kinds of pieces. So the competition might be kind of stiff for that very reason. It would be more competitive there than maybe a research type piece where folks actually have the data, but that doesn't mean we wouldn't consider it if it's well done, and if you have a really sound plan for how you could go about assessing this and what you could do with that information, which is part of what the innovation category is anyway. Then it would be something we would certainly be interested in considering, Carrie. So yeah, the the call is up there. I can send you the information, or when you get the slides, you can check it out. Yeah,
Okay, thank you so
and
much.
then we could Zoom about it or whatever if that would be helpful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, bring your team or whatever, and yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm working with Jen Quinn on that. And from
Okay, great.
also, she's fantastic. And so you had mentioned the plan for the assessment data. So to interpret that, does that mean then that plan would get worked into the article draft, or does that mean the plan would get worked into the like submission, but then we'd collect data before it got published?
No, you wouldn't have to collect data before
Okay.
you. It would just be something that
It laid out the.
yeah. It would just have to lay it out.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's right.
Yeah, getting
That would be
IRB.
what the article did. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because getting IRB stuff and getting data collected, it's a whirlwind.
Right.
Um,
Right.
okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming, and thanks for your beautiful remarks about Lilly.
You guys do such a nice job, and I'm always struck when I go there and also things like this. People are coming from so many different states, and it's right here in our backyard, and I just feel honestly so lucky. So thank you for what
Yeah,
you do. This is a huge undertaking you do.
it is. It is. But it's we have the stability of doing it, here every year, so that really helps, and we have that infrastructure, and we have a great team that really knows the ropes. But yeah, it's a huge undertaking. You're right about that, but it's really great when it all comes together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Okay.
You're welcome. Thanks. Take care. All right. Oops. Where's the chat? All right. Got it. I guess just the slots. That's what I'm saying, it's the jobs. What's on this is people use paper. Poll. This has been doing this thing.